and then
Okay,
thank
it's
you.
recording now.
So let's repeat. We're here to discuss what should be on the CI runners group dashboard. The runners group is one of the only groups that already has like a whole bunch of dashboards with their own metrics. Thomas listed them here. Um, but not everything is relevant and not everything needs to be ported over. And now we're trying to figure out what should go there. So I've opened there's one automated dashboard already, and this is the service overview but dashboard. I think that's just from the service catalog. These things are generated, and I added the main SLIs here, the error rates and the app decks to the group dashboard already. I don't know if that's something interesting to have there or not, Steve.
Yeah, I would also add the saturation one if it's possible,
This one?
because yes, because that's the one we've been using quite a lot recently to verify, like
Okay,
to look at the saturation stuff.
I'm going to add this to a note. I thought I mentioned the merge request here. Just going to add a dummy note
Yeah.
here at the bottom so I know what to do. There we go. Anything else that you would like to duplicate over to the group dashboard from this one as well?
No, I think those are mostly the ones I mostly look at during anything. That is
Well,
the abdex score, errors ratio, and
these
saturation.
these like all the things below here are rolled up into these anyway. So if you see a problem,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we already linked this dashboard from the group dashboard as well. So you'd end up here anyway.
yeah.
And
That's
then
perfect.
I also have here, these are like all the dashboards that Thomas linked to me before.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go through them one by one or?
Whatever helps you the most.
Well, I don't know. Do you have like a metric that you very like on the one of these dashboards that you very often go to?
Yeah, so it's mostly those gauges that we see on the top that gives us a good overview of like capacity as well on a shard level instead of like a whole
Yeah.
component level.
So that's the per shard. I think
You've already added this in the merge request as far as I can understand.
I think I might have, but I'm going to take a note of this as well with the screenshots. This shows the usage per shard, right? And whether
Correct. Yeah. So it takes the total number of jobs it can run and divides them by the number of current jobs that are running.
and that's from this dashboard. Because some of the queries I might just be able to copy paste in, like who knows.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, the one like the GCP machines, job minutes, and so on and so forth. Those are mostly like nice to have, kind of to show to users how many jobs we're running at the same time. But like they're not really they're more eye candy than helping you define an incident. So I'm not sure if we want to split
I'm
that
going to
up.
take I'm going to take a note of that, and we'll see if I can find a nice way to add that, and why not? This cache performance thing, is that part of?
To be honest, I have never used that. I never even looked at it, or it was
Yeah.
never. I think that was mostly a legacy thing because we used to have our own cache servers, but since we moved to Google Cloud Storage, it's mostly a no-op for us.
Cool.
So I don't think we really need it.
And then this one is very interesting to me because there was an incident I think a month back or something, where jQuery discovered that there were a bunch of traces in Redis that hadn't been archived to object storage. Would this show the correct thing?
No, I think the one that Gregos identified was if we're talking about the same incident, because there was a bunch of incidents. So
when object storage was down and the traces couldn't be uploaded, so they were in
okay.
Redis.
No,
the whole bunch of jobs failed and then weren't retried, and like that's the.
I'm not sure how that metric works. So if you can edit it to see the query.
Yeah, it's the CI unarchived traces.
So yeah, maybe it's usable.
That's not Thanos anymore. Let's see what that looks like. There's only a single one, and it's mostly a low number or missing.
Yeah. I wonder if CI already has this.
There should be something on the overview dashboard. I saw that there is. This shows the sidekick jobs, I think, not the traces themselves.
Yeah. And also looking at the handmade one, the CI dashboard one, there's a drop-down section. I don't know what it's called in Grafana, called tracing archives, which is pretty much the same thing.
Here.
Yeah, that one.
That's the one that we were looking at just before.
Yeah. So maybe we can have it in one place.
There's an issue for unarchived traces, but I'm going to link to this panel, and then I'm going to, like, if the metrics are valuable, because there was a new issue I created to get to these metrics, but at the time we weren't running an up-to-date version of GitLab Exporter, and then
Okay.
So we don't have I don't know the right place to get this information right now.
Got it. Okay.
That's from the same dashboard. This one. Okay. Anything else that you can think of here?
So we use quite a lot. So jobs at gitlab.com, that is no longer usable at this point, just because that metric, the one that is expanded right now.
This one.
No, yeah, that one. That is no longer usable at this point, just because that is using DB archive, and those queries are just timing out all the time. So we no longer use it.
And do you miss it?
We do miss it, yes. And there's a merge request to add these as metrics in Prometheus. So then we can scrape the GitLab instance for these metrics. I can send you the merge request if that helps you.
Yeah, can you mention me on it? Because if that's another case of, because that's a database, that's database rows probably.
I'm not sure how it's working, to be honest. I need to check the merge request because that is what Thomas was
Yeah, okay. That would be cool if you mention me there, because I'm worried that it's going to be another case of like if we're going to export this from all nodes running GitLab, then we're going to have a super noisy metric. And we have a few of those already. And I was talking with folks from delivery on running a new GitLab exporter, and then maybe we could have those from there.
Okay, I'm gonna mention you right now. And you should get a to-do item now.
Thank you. Jobs@gitlab.com. Just going to copy it. There we go. And that used to show you how much jobs there were in any given state, pending and stale.
Pending, running, and pretty much everything.
Yeah,
And
that,
I
that
think
sounds like a pretty interesting graph to have, honestly.
yeah. Yes, I did was seeing like a massive spike of pending jobs. It was quite clear when abuse was coming in and when it wasn't. So I think it really helps.
Yeah, I'm going to see if we can figure something out. And it's good that Tomasz is already on the case.
Yeah, and it seems that it was already approved by Shinya as well. So
So it should be in soon. Cool.
so yeah.
Something more from this dashboard?
Yeah, quite a lot actually. So job queue timings. SRE uses a lot the job queue duration histogram percentiles. The one
This
on the
one.
left.
This one.
No, the one on the that one. Sorry, the cursor is lagging. Yes, that one.
Okay.
So that is the one that SRE use the most. The other ones I don't really use, nor do I understand.
Okay, so job queued. If you mention job here, that's a CI job, no, not a sidekick job.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes like it's confusing for me because the
Yeah.
thing has two names. It's called build and job, and then I don't know what to use.
Yeah. That is. There's a lot of history around why
I know.
it was called build at the flood job. It's always so weird. So
Shinya started explaining it to me once, and then yeah. And with my tiny screen, that's queue duration. This comment is going to look very bad when I submit it later, but it's going to be enough for me to know what I need to do.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sidekick API, can you expand that a bit? Honestly, I never use these.
This one, the job requests thing, you should already have on the current, like the default dashboard.
Yeah, the RPS one, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably the same. But I don't have. Do I have it open somewhere? No. That's the sidekick queues is going to be the length. That's apparently the length of all the CI queues. They should already be there. You should already have them. When I get the merge request out, I'm going to ask you to look through if there's any queues missing that you're interested in, or perhaps you're not interested at all in the sidekick queues.
Yeah, I mean, they might be interesting in a specific use case, so it's good to have them just in case.
And then the API workers load. I don't know if that's relevant to your group specifically, because like there's loads of requests being served there.
Yeah.
And the loads, like, okay, you are the biggest consumer of API, but you're not like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think we really. I never use those in past experiences.
And these ones you should have. What is this one?
That is quite. Yeah, it's showing the type of request that we're sending.
For private, for which kind of shard the requests?
Yeah, and what type of request it is.
That's you have your own. Is that metric coming from the runner or from GitLab itself?
I think GitLab runner API request. That is from the runner, I think.
So that's actually client side viewing of that. So that might be quite interesting.
Yeah, let me double check the code. So request status total.
I think we might
Ah.
want to, although
You,
we should have this on the server side as well, but we might want to extract an error rate and so on from this because there's a status on that metric.
yeah, I don't see it in our GitLab runner metrics, but what you can do is maybe in your notes, ping me and leave like for Steve to double confirm or
Yeah.
something like that, so I can look into it if you want me to.
I think it's going to be a very high cardinality thing, but it is coming from the runner like from the runner nodes.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Okay, yeah, it might be useful so we can get like client side data.
I'll add a note here. Uh, okay,
Perfect.
back to the big panel.
The job owned, these the ones I use quite frequently, all of them. So yeah, it would be nice to have these. And this one gives me like a good distribution between like, okay, I don't know, shared RAM manager 3 is picking up a lot of jobs instead of the other ones, so it might help figure out some.
Okay, so that's jobs running on runners owned by GitLab.
Part 1 and part 2.
I think I already added part of that, perhaps.
Okay.
But I'm going to double check. I think the snapshot has expired.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how does that snapshot work? Is it a matter of just rerunning?
Yeah, it's just rerunning a script. Actually, I could do that now because then you see how it's done. Where is? Yep. So let me check out this branch on the runbooks. I don't have runbooks open. Yes, I do. So that's just running this test dashboard script. I've already added an API key for Grafana to my environment. And then if you want
Okay.
to run, then you just go to stage groups and the group is like that. And it'll spit out a link with your
That is
changes.
awesome. Okay.
So
Nice.
So yeah, like jobs running by shard is already available, but not. Yeah, that's all for GPRD, but not the last one, the runners owned by GitLab Inc. Or is it?
Yeah, the part 1 and part 2. Don't know why they're split into parts, but
Probably because you wanted to have, otherwise you need to push them on one line. But
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I'm going to look into those and see. I think especially those might be interesting to see if the division is still like agreeable.
Yeah. And it also helps us see like which nodes are draining and like how many jobs are running in that node. So it's quite useful.
Yeah. Okay, next up, started on runners.
I mean, I don't know. I never really use it. It's nice to look at, but like this one kind of duplicates what
What is
running.
before?
Yeah. So
I find the other ones. I find these ones clearer to see what
Yeah.
they like. Yeah.
and it gives me a histogram rather than a bar graph. So I wouldn't miss this one basically. These runner limits are quite useful. They like basically each GitLab runner has a number of jobs that can run,
Yeah.
and it gives us the private runner managers are reaching capacity or something like that. But
Yeah.
this
I
this
think this
can
is what
be
that shows, but only for running. Like this shows the jump the jobs on the shared node and where the threshold is, but
yeah
not in a
yeah
percentage.
yeah.
Is that the same? Let's have a look. Yeah, yeah, because yeah, I see. So here you're showing the 100%, and that's
Mhm.
like yeah, that's where the threshold be, and all of the different shards are on the same graph.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the other one is pretty much gives you the same data, right? So might not need
If you
to.
prefer it on one graph, that's totally fine as well. And if you prefer
Uh,
it in a percentage, that's maybe handier because, like, I don't know if you care about the absolute numbers, like
is
these
there a way
absolute numbers.
to make this one uh, the one with the threshold with percentage instead of absolute number, or is
Yes,
that okay? If I
that's
can, if I can do that, that would be awesome.
yeah. So that's running jobs by shard. Uh, where was I writing?
Because then we can always filter on the top with the variables
Yeah,
if we care about the shared runner shard, for
yeah,
example.
and you can click them as well to see.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to take a screenshot to. Does the does this matter by instance as well?
Um,
What's an instance and what's a worker?
so an instance is like just a
That's a
GCP
VM.
machine. Yeah,
Yeah,
just a VM. But the VM can have multiple workers installed.
got it.
And like one way we use it is for the GitLab Shared Runner Manager VMs that has multiple workers installed, and it's connecting to gitlab.com, ops gitlab.net, and also dev gitlab.org. So that's why we split by worker as well, because since some machines have different workers. Um,
Huh, and can we get that? I think we can we get that
that
information from like what workers are running on which machines?
what
Because that seems
worker?
more interesting because right now you need to like guess, I guess.
So the worker. So there is the name of the machines. Um, can you expand it so we can see it properly?
Like this.
Because that, do you see the shot at the end? That is the
Yeah.
worker ID, basically. We should see like multiple private runner manager ones, for example.
Um, yes, here, well, that's the Windows runners, but here's two Windows runners. Like the Windows runner manager one is running two
Workers, exactly. Yeah,
workers. Yeah, got it. Got
yeah,
it. Um, so you should we copy these over?
yeah. I would, because they're quite useful sometimes. Like I don't know if dev.gitlab.net is not working properly, we can limit it by that.
I think that's the only thing that dev.gitlab.net is doing these days. CI stuff.
It is, yes.
Hmm. Okay, let's continue. Job failures.
this is useful because then we can see when we deployed something, it can be a system failure, and we can
Yeah.
see a spike of like, okay, a system failure is probably 99% our fault. It can be a configuration or a code to deploy. So I think it's useful.
How is the runner deployed now? I have actually no idea.
Ah,
Is that something that delivery does?
no, that is something we do, and
Mhm.
that's a lot of how to say skeletons in the closet, basically.
Sorry to ask.
No, no worries. It's something we started working on last week. At this
But
point,
in that sense, it's probably interesting to have it split by um, instance, like you have here, because then you can see if
yes,
an instance that you deployed to first starts failing,
yes,
then
yes. I think that yeah, that one is by instance, and the other one is by the shard. So we can see like a total number of like the shard runners, for example,
yeah.
on the private matter. Because we do like canary release where we deploy to private runner managers first, and then the day after
Mhm.
we deploy to the rest of the fleet. So it might be useful to have it by the
Yeah.
shard type as well.
I can't wait until I can sit back at my desk and have a proper keyboard.
You kind of feel like you're held back when you go back on your laptop, right?
Yeah, well, we're doing some renovation in the house. So for the past week, I've been working on the laptop and it's
Oh.
like starting to wear me down. Auto scale machines.
Yeah, I would say I use these a lot. And this is somewhat a bit of these two panels are somewhat a duplicate of the other Grafana dashboard that Thomas sent you. Um,
Um, which one? This one?
yeah, I think some of them are actually. So this one shows the quotas and then the GCP machines, but the other one goes like it's ignorant about the environment
About the,
basically.
yeah. So this one just shows the number of machines, I guess.
Yes, the number of machines that are
And
used.
this one knows about the quota we have.
Exactly, yeah. So I would say both of them, like all four panels, are quite useful.
Yes. So I'm going to cross-link those in my comments. Um,
We are also at time, but if you want, I can do another half hour if this is helpful for you.
it is helpful. I don't know, like at least we'll have a note of it somewhere. I don't know if I'll be able to do all of that soon, but I'm
No,
going
that's
to
fine.
like if I can get a start and have like some metrics in, then perhaps the folks from the runner team can
Yeah,
like
exactly.
start doing it themselves a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, I think I can start with this. I'm just going to take note of this last one, but yeah, you don't really need to watch me do that per se. But I think if we can start by adding a few of these already, that
yeah,
would be a nice start. And then I'm going to ask you and Tomasz to take a look at the panel, and if it's already useful, like
yeah,
if it would help that you don't need to jump around between the four dashboards. Well, we only touched on two for now.
yeah. Um, yeah, even if the current merge request you have, we can merge it as it is apart from moving from absolute values to percentages on the
Yeah,
and then we can keep adding one panel at a time, so we don't have end up with a massive merge request as well.
I'm going to start with taking the notes, like because like
Yeah.
all of the stuff that you've just told me is kind of like in your head, and it would be handy if
Yes.
like
No. No.
people
I agree.
from infrastructure and us also understand these. So that's going to be
No,
great.
that is perfect.
Thank you very much for the time.
No problem.
And I hope to get the merge request to you or Tomasz again somewhere next week with some panels, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Perfect. Thank you
I
very
think
much.
it's going to be handy for you to have the graphs inside code rather than in Grafana as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, because sometimes it's so hard to like, how is this metric being generated? And when I go edit it, I'm always scared that I'm gonna mess it up because this is all handled by hand. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you worked with the runbooks already before?
I've worked runbooks from a documentation perspective and service catalog perspective, and I did update some metrics from the SLI,
okay. So it's the same.
Yeah.
It's just
so it's a matter of updating like the query and then merge it and it's automatically deployed.
Yeah,
right?
and the whole thing is like in JSONet files, which is just a fancy version of JSON. So
Okay. Yeah.
cool.
Perfect.
Well, talk to you later. Have a nice weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.